Trading Ideas. Let me now bring on board Tirthankar Patnaik, Director and Strategist with Institutional Research of Relicare Capital Markets. Tirthankar, morning. Thank you for joining us. Today is a big day. What are your expectations? 25 and no more, or 25 and some more is coming?
I think, morning Nikunj, we've been talking about 25 basis points for quite some time. We believe that given the central bank's rhetoric on inflation, given their view that came out in the MMD yesterday also, excuse me, that they remain worried about inflation. We believe 25 basis point is the max that they would do. In this case, if they do a repeat of what they did in May of 2012, starting of FY13, where they followed up, where they did a 50 basis point cut, they would essentially lose the plot on inflation. It took the RBI 2 months after May of 2012 to convince the world that they were serious about inflation and not talking about growth. Where have we come from there? We've seen growth coming down meaningfully. We've seen inflation coming down meaningfully. I will not think that the RBI will rock the boat with a 50 basis point cut. So 25 basis point cut on the repo is what we're expecting. CRR one cut can possibly happen given the banks have been asking for one for now.
What about the stance that the RBI can take right now, given that inflation is easing? Do you still expect them to be a bit cautious?
So their stance has come out yesterday. They fairly remain cautious. They remain fairly hawkish. They say that inflation is something that's likely to be a problem. They're also saying that slowdown can be extended. They're saying that current account deficit is something that they continue to be worried about. So I do not expect their stance to be any different. Just see what happened in the January credit policy. One day before, the monetary and macro developments note that came out was very, very hawkish, and the RBI still followed it up with not just a cut on the repo but also on the CRR. So we see a repeat, we see an encore happening today. So we will not be too worried or too bullish if the RBI comes up with a 25 basis point cut.
Tirthankar, having said that, a week ago the only game in the town was to buy rate sensitives. But if I map market internals, IT stocks have made a comeback, consumer stocks are back in demand, industrial stocks are looking strong. So yes, credit policy is an important event, but if I map market internals, it is evident that it is not the only game in the town.
No, you're right, Nikunj. I mean, what we've been pointing out is market is remaining, market is looking fairly toppish at this point after the credit policy today. And remember, we've ruled out a 50 basis point cut happening. That's the rare event. Suppose that does not happen, there aren't any macro triggers in the next couple of weeks. In fact, what's happening in the parliament pretty much goes on to say that the government will have great difficulty passing on major bills. Opposition has made it fairly clear that they will not let any bills pass beyond the finance bills. So that's on the parliamentary front. And on reforms per se, we are not expecting any kind of macro trigger. There's no macro data. Excuse me. There's no macro data that's coming in which would which would make things fairly positive or act as a positive surprise for the markets. We believe this is a clear signal for the market to sell. A week ago, we had got out a note saying, sell in May and go away. Does not really work for India. Typically, Indian markets perform alternatively. They perform well 1 year and they don't perform the next year. This year, however, we are expecting a negative performance. We believe that markets are toppish, as I pointed out. So there, to your point, IT, consumer have been performing. I'll be fairly partial towards IT at this point.
Ashwini, in last 10 days, the market run-up has been quick.
Tirthankar, while you're talking about being a bit defensive in this market, what's your view on some of the infrastructure, the high beta names?
No, at this point, I'll be a seller in any of these names. The only in the whole industrial space, the only stock that we like has been Larsen & Toubro, and we sort of stick to that in our model portfolio. For the rest, in terms of mid caps, probably in capital goods space, we like stocks like Crompton Greaves or Cummins. But other than that, none. In the intra space, actually no. We are not expecting any key events or key announcements from the government coming up right now. So unless that happens, there is no trigger for these stocks really. They are cheap and they might remain cheap for this point. At this point, as I pointed out, we'll be sellers of rate sensitives.
All right, gentlemen, stay with us. A quick break on the show. When we come back, we'll get you trading ideas from Mitesh Thakkar. Tirthankar, the big success story so far, apart from rate sensitives, is what's happening to FMCG, and especially after the Unilever news. Do you think in the near term FMCG as a group will outperform Indian markets?
I think yes, given that we have been talking about profit booking, we have been talking about moving away from rate sensitives, we do expect sector rotation into FMCGs. Having said that, I must point out to you that I was not particularly enthused with HUL results. If you look at growth on a volume basis, what the company did was basically surprise on the positive on expectations. But if I compare it with what happened last year, it was a mere 0.5% uptick in terms of volume growth. So the theme that we are running with for FY14 is that urban consumption is going to take a hit, and we see no reason to change that view. In the near term, of course, at near 6,000 levels, the market is looking for a correction, and at this point we will be partial towards FMCGs. So stocks that we like are not, HUL is there, but we like Dabur, we like Imami. These are the stocks that we sort of like in this space. We do not like Marico, we do not like Godrej Consumers, we don't like Nestle. These are stocks that are extremely expensive at this point, and we will not be buyers there.
Right. What's the call then on the auto pack post the sales numbers that you saw yesterday?
See, auto numbers have not really surprised bar the fact that tractors did very well for M&M, and the stock has seen that result happening. We believe that tractors going by the low base for the next couple of months should continue to perform well, and going forward there are two sets of news which will be positive for M&M. One is of course the food security bill whenever it comes out, and then what the government really finally recommends happening on the MSPs. Yesterday we had some recommendations which weren't overtly positive, but we'll have to see the final numbers there. Those are the key triggers working for M&M, and tractors will be at 40% of their overall revenues, should be the drivers there. Other than that, we like Tamo. The numbers have been fairly okay. Positive news from China, positive news from the US. Also point out there is upside on that stock. What we do not like, other than purely a trading buy at this point, is Maruti. We were not enthused by the results, bar what happened on yen. And let's not forget that 1 year back we had a 3% decline in growth. So this time's numbers were not really a big surprise for us. So in terms of two wheelers, we don't really like the pack at this point. Either Hero or Bajaj. So we'll stay away from them.
Okay, the real star yesterday was Arcom. The stock is now up 42% this year. 1 year return, a staggering 37%, and large part of the incremental gains have come in last 10-15 days. In fact, if you map how Arcom has moved only in last 1 month, you'll be surprised with the price action there. Yesterday also it was the top traded counter on both the exchanges. There you go. Investors love that graph, don't they? Stock is up 65% in last 1 month. Tirthankar, what's the deal with Arcom? Do you think Arcom is a special situation stock? Do you think markets somewhere are hopeful that ADAG group will be able to reduce their debt and the stock will be flying again?
I think you said it, Nikunj. Basically, it's something for our SpecSit team, the special situations team. People are banking on a revival for the entire ADAG group. That essentially happened once the deal with the elder brother was signed earlier on in the month. Suppose that Arcom has seen a big rise. What we've been, what has been our focus on telecom, especially, is that we've been negative, and our thought has been from a top-down perspective. Volume growth in the sector is likely to be in single digits for going forward. And the only stock that one would be at this point is Idea, where operational metrics really did perform on the upside. So Arcom is good, but this is not something we'll have as a core holding. This is more a special situation stock at this point, and by that metric, it has performed very well.
What about the other ADAG group of stocks, Reliance Capital, Reliance Power, the likes?
No, like I said, at this point, we are not going on rate sensitive, so Reliance Capital is automatically ruled out. And as a special situations strategy, one might want to play all ADAG stocks, but not as a core model portfolio perspective. From a top-down perspective, we do not see that revival happening at this point.
Okay, Reliance yesterday closed at 800 rupees. TCS also seems to be making a comeback. So typical large cap, liquid and benchmark.
Tirthankar, what's your view on the energy space, Reliance in particular?
See, we like energy, purely from a reform perspective, and we had been earlier on pushing, downstream companies. At this point, we like some of the gas plays, specifically IGL. We believe that the court hearing, which has been pushed to about 7th of May right now, will finally end in IGL's favor. So that as an event trade is something we like. Other than that, if you ask me, one play that we like is ONGC. We believe that, diesel price hikes going forward, and the under recovery having come down to less than 4 rupees at this point, both help ONGC. The other trigger is that after the Rangarajan committee actually recommended higher gas prices, we will see some extent of gas price revival, from the current $4 or to about 6.5, which should also help ONGC. So, in that sense, from the energy space, ONGC over Reliance at this point.
Tirthankar, as a house, I distinctly remember Religare has a coverage on United Spirits closer to 2300. Do you think there is still some more headroom left for United Spirits as a stock?
I think the stock can go all the way up to 2700. Positive news for the stock will continue to come in, and our analyst lists it as one of his top picks, really. So we remain very, very positive on United Spirits.
United Spirits is also a special situation stock after the Diageo makeover.
Exactly, absolutely. So long as the market continues to remain convinced that Diageo will be the company that will be managing the stock, managing the company, United Spirits will have a meaningful upside from this point. So as I said, 2700 is what we are looking for.
But there is no proof of it. As of now, numbers have not kicked in, debt has not gone down, market share has not gone up. Are markets building in too much of hope?
Which is why that makes it a special situations fund. Special situations stock.
Okay.
What about auto ancillaries? We spoke about the auto space, but probably driven by the replacement demand that the sector is seeing. Are you more bullish there?
No, we will not be playing, auto ancillaries at this point. Some of the stocks that we like from a core fundamental perspective are, Bosch, but other than that, we're not playing auto ancillaries at this point. We are not positive on consumption going forward, and therefore consumer discretionaries as a space is something that we will be cautious about. We do not see things happening there, and so auto ancillaries at this point, we do not see them actually performing in this particular scenario, because they will be squeezed by OEMs, and as demand remains fairly sluggish, we do not expect demand. For two-wheelers we have about 5% to 6% demand. For cars we have 5% to 6% demand. So in this scenario, we do not really expect auto ancillaries as a space to perform very well, frankly.
Okay, gentlemen, stay on with us. Let's